Something about that music. Once again, we're live.
Making you feel good, like you know it would.
The Andre The Beast Crayton Show with my co-host, Yolanda in the house.
Hey, hey, hey. How you doing, boo?
Guys, subscribe, like, share.
And comment, because we want to hear from you.
You know what? I like doing this live stuff because, you know, it's not rehearsing. If we screw up, who cares?
You just got to keep it moving.
You just got to keep it moving. You know what? The guest that we're about to have, let me bring her on the right way, because I'm looking at this resume and I am literally blown away. Blown away.
This is the real deal.
But just think about something. And you know what? I never even thought about it like this.
You didn't think I knew powerful people, did you? That's what it really is.
That's why you're on the show. You know, we got remember, people, like, subscribe, review,
and share. We are live.
This young lady had. I like the way her bio started out, because she was like, "Can't nobody tell your story but you," and I like that concept, because that's the Beast frame of mind. Don't tell my story, let me tell my story.
There you go.
But it goes a little bit deeper than that. I'm looking at this bio, and you got to realize there's always somebody behind these celebrities that we look at.
That's right.
Such as So Def, Jermaine Dupri, Usher, which I told you the story on how I met Usher. We'll get into that.
Usher, where are you going, Usher?
You make me want to be the one, man. Outcast. I mean, the list is crazy, but somebody had to help navigate these celebrities to where they are. And today on the show, we have a young lady who can tell her story on how she not only inspired these individuals, but how she took their careers and took it to the next level. You know, to take it over right now.
Absolutely. This is a dear friend of mine today. Miss Tasha Robinson White is with us in the house.
Tasha, welcome.
What's up, T? Lady T. You know,
hey guys.
What's up?
Happy to have her. When you talk about really having the opportunity to work with heavy hitters in the entertainment industry, when you talk about truly being the right hand to some famous people, Floyd Mayweather and others, working at LaFace Records, this lady is phenomenal. She has had a successful career making other people successful.
And she's getting ready to tell her story.
That's right.
On the #1 podcast, the Andre The Beast Show. You know, I got to toot my own horn.
In our hearts and minds.
That's all right. It doesn't matter. You know, you have to believe it as though it's so.
Speaking into existence.
That's right. She is now the CEO and founder of Vanguardian Global, a company that will blow your mind. She's going to tell us about it, but she has had definitely a journey that is worth hearing. Tasha, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Yolanda. And thank you guys both for having me here today.
Absolutely. So, Tasha, we're just going to start off. You know, I think at this point, we need to just let you help the viewers understand a little bit about who you are, because you're fascinating, to say the least.
Beyond fascinating.
So just share a little of your story. Yeah.
Well, you kind of talked about it in the beginning of the show. I have contributed to quite a few major influencers in the world. I can't say I did it alone. Obviously, there was many teams, and those that work behind the scenes, like myself, that contributed to some of these major influencers' careers. Floyd Mayweather, I did work with LaFace Records, even taking it over to the business side, Brad Sugars, just to name a few. I am a mother, I'm a wife. I've been married with my husband for 26 years.
Yes.
I reside in Las Vegas. I am an author. I wrote and self-published my first book in 2014, Right Hand into The Champ, 13 Lessons That Changed My Life. And that does pivot around my time working with the champ, Floyd Mayweather. However, the book is not all about Floyd. It's really about me and my challenges and my wins and my lessons. And so, yeah, I mean, and I'm excited to be here today. And I am now the Vanguard of Vanguardian Global, and that is my most recent business venture. And I think that's the one that I'm pouring all my love into.
All right, all right. We like it. Yes, that is awesome. But I want to go back a little bit because, you know, I remember hearing you tell your story one time about how you moved to Atlanta and then got your internship and that sort of thing. So help the people know, because I mean, you making it sound like we all can just work with Usher and you know the Rileys and the Outkast. Yeah, yeah. It's not that.
It's not easy,
right? So you making it sound like, oh yeah, I just work with them. But tell us how that came to be and how you went down that path.
So I'm originally from Lansing, Michigan. After high school, I decided to go to Spelman College in Atlanta, Georgia.
To the HBCU.
Right. So during my time in Atlanta, I lived and I was surrounded by so many young artists that were really kind of just getting started. So I was around the Jermaine Dupri when he was, you know, in his basement putting beats together. He was a dancer. Him and my husband went to high school together, and they danced together in talent shows, etc. I met my husband down there, and of course he was amongst all those people at that particular time. I was a girl in school. They were the fun crew, and I was like, do I want to go to school or do I want to be with the fun crew? You know, do I want to, you know, what am I trying to do here? I was really intrigued about working, what it took to become the next level artist. You know, what I seen their grind, I seen their hustle. I watched Second Nature before they were TLC. Just so you guys know, before Escape was Escape, like these people, I knew these people, and I watched them grind and I watched them hustle. And then I met a guy named Ian Burt, who is a good friend of mine. I call him my big brother. And if you know anything about Ian Burt, he's got the Midas touch. He has touched many artists out there: Outkast, Arrested Development, India Irie, TLC. I mean, the list goes on. Escape. So Ian recognized talent in me, and he said, hey, I want you to come work with me. He gave me my first industry job working with him in Escape. From working with Escape, I took notice at LaFace Records, and there was an internship that was an opportunity. I jumped at it, and got in there, and I worked with some of the best in the business today. And I have to say that because when I say the best in the business, I'm not talking about the artists. I'm talking about the people that work behind the scenes. Okay. The Shanti Doss, the Sherry Rileys, the Billy Woodruffs. And if you guys Google any of these names, you know these people are still making impact today.
Yes.
Chelsea Gray. I mean, the list goes on. So whereas everyone sees Outkast and TLC and Usher and Tony Braxton, you know, behind those artists was a group of people that I highly respect, and I was amongst.
Exactly.
And that was great. And I got to shout out my boy Tommy Henderson too, because he was over there as well.
And I know already know that's a homeboy. Yes,
I know that's a homeboy, but yeah, Tommy was like my big brother. Like he was always in my ear, just kind of. You know, when you're an intern, you're kind of like the runt, you know what I'm saying? You're kind of running around learning the ropes. A little bit of everything, you know, and I didn't take it like that. I was a sponge. I was like, yes, put me over in video production. Sure, I'll do artist development. I'm there because you got to outwork them as an intern. And to anyone out there that's trying to be an intern to go to the next level, just go in there and just know whatever you do, you need to outwork the next person.
Okay, that is a word. You hear me? Now, she spelled, look, I'm speechless. Hustle. I mean.
out of all those job opportunities, which one really caught your attention during your time with trying to figure out which direction you wanted to go? You mentioned the different fields in entertainment. Which one really took you?
The one that really was, I really enjoy artist development.
Why is that?
That's the beginning stages of, before the artist is really who you see out there on the stage or who you hear in the interview, right, or who you see in the magazine. How do they get to getting to that brand and getting to be so visible? And then that really stuck out. And I was able to work with a lady named Devette Singletary, may she rest in peace, but she put a lot of trust in me, being her intern. I mean, this lady, they called her the mama at LaFace Records.
Okay.
And I really took interest there because, before Toni Braxton was wearing those fabulous dresses and stuff, there was so much that went into her even getting into that dress,
right,
or even TLC, they're taking that spin off of, with Left Eye Burning Down the House or things of that nature, and spinning these stories and making it work for the brand that they were building, not taking it to the negative.
You were the brand builder. Now that I'm thinking about this, it hit me when I said you were the brand. I'm the branthropist. So when you think about these things,
but I didn't really have a title for it. You know what I'm saying? I just knew it felt really good seeing them go from these different stages and what it took to take them from A to B to Z. You know what I'm saying? So I really enjoyed that part. I also enjoyed the marketing and promotions. I mean, getting out there, touching the people, connecting with the radio DJs, et cetera, and getting their feedback and seeing where it would go if you talk to the right person and knowing how to connect with the right person.
Okay.
So connecting, collaborating, and being creative, I think that was always in me. I am just now, and that's scary, y'all.
Hey,
I'm going to tell you, I'm just now really recognizing that part.
Tasha, speaking of that, let me ask a question. What was that most challenging client that you had to deal with? Speaking of the TLC, Andre Rising.
You trying to get her to dish the dirt.
No.
See how you
we want names first and last.
How difficult was that to really clean up and keep her? Because usually when that came out, people had their own perception, but it's your job now to take that chaos, that pandemonium, and still keep TLC going.
Yes. So that wasn't my job alone. Like we had a whole staff. Remember, at that point, I was an intern and I also was Lisa's friend.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So there was two sides of the spectrum I was looking at, you know what I'm saying? But all we knew, the label obviously was looking at, protecting the group, protecting their image and doing the best that they could. But I also was a personal friend of hers as well. So, and I was young too, so we were just trying to figure it out.
They was having fun, honey. What you talking about? Yeah, they was having fun. I don't know what you talking about. We at the club
trying to get it.
That group, they took a lot. They owned it and they took it to the next level. That's just like, telling your own story.
Right.
She had to get in front of it before she let everybody else get behind
her
it.
story.
Lisa knew that.
Right.
See, that's branding. If you don't tell your story, somebody else will, and it might be risky.
That's why you're on the show. That's why she's sitting here and I'm sitting over here.
So that's interesting. So when you think about that part of your life, and somehow you managed to transition from Atlanta to Vegas, take us to that transition and where that led.
So working at LaFace, interning at LaFace, I knew, there was going to be a ceiling there for me. And I wasn't really moving as fast as I thought I should have been moving at that particular time. But then I was like, I wanted to swing a little bit with no boundaries. I wanted to check out some new things. My parents left Michigan and moved to Las Vegas in 95 or 94. And then I hadn't visited them. So I'd been a little homesick from my parents and I knew Vegas was untapped. And everyone used to say, well, Vegas is the entertainment capital of the world. Well, I never seen us in Vegas really do anything since Sammy Davis Jr.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So I didn't know what that looked like, but I was like willing to go out there and explore it. So when I moved to Las Vegas, the strip was not the same strip that you guys see today in 2021. Nightclubs were not inside the hotel casinos. There were maybe 3 or 4 standalone nightclubs here, The Drink, Utopia, and maybe a couple others. So when I came, I was like, how am I going to untap here? What am I going to do? I knew I was going to be innovative. I knew I was going to put myself in a position to make something grand happen. I just didn't know exactly what that would have been. And so when my husband, at the time, my boyfriend, he flew out to convince me to come back to Las Vegas. And I was like, nope. I convinced me to come back to Atlanta. And I was like, nope, I'm staying. And if you love me, you're going to stay too. Needless to say,
see, this is what
give him no ultimatum.
No, none at all. And as a matter of fact, but what he a dancer too?
26 years later, we're here. Yeah. And we actually, when he came out, you know, we got married, I had a baby, etc. And then the Billboard Music Awards was coming to Las Vegas, and it hadn't been to Las Vegas before. And I knew this because of my relationships at LaFace Records and my relationships in the music industry. I knew this way before even some people in Las Vegas knew it was coming. So I got a leap on it. So we went and rented out a nightclub on a Monday. Everyone looked at me crazy. The nightclub owner was like, why are you wanting to, you know, yeah, you can, it's no business on Monday. Yeah, you can rent our club out. Here's $2,000, just rent the club out. So we rented the club out knowing that the Billboard Music Awards was coming like 4 months later, but they didn't know that. Right. So when he got a whiff of all of that, of course, he double charged me. He told me I needed to bring another $2,000 in because he didn't believe that all these celebrities were coming to this event. He didn't know me. So, you know, he upped it a little bit. So I paid the additional $2,000. So it was $4,000 to rent the nightclub out. And of course, I'm on the phone with Jonata Patton, which is Usher's mom. I'm on the phone with my friends at LaFace. I'm on the phone with Billboard. I'm on the phone with everybody that's affiliated with Billboard. And I'm hustling. I'm like, hey, we're having a party. It's the only party that's going on. I talked to Billboard themselves, like, it was going down, and we handed out flyers. We did everything we needed to do. And the night of this party, not only did Usher show up, not only did Queen Latifah, Garth Brooks, like I'm talking, the whole Billboard came over to our event. And at that point, instantaneously, Kevin and I made a name for ourselves. Yep. Like these promoters came in and they hit hard, and this is what happened. And guess what? We didn't pay one artist to come. Not one.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
Not one. It was all on relationships. And that's how it was. And at that night, I actually met Floyd Mayweather, who actually was underage, trying to get in my nightclub. And I was like, I don't know who you are, but that's not about to happen.
You didn't check his ID?
Yeah, I didn't care who he was.
She didn't let him in.
He was not getting in.
She didn't let him in.
Coincidentally, he knew the nightclub owner, so he was able to get in. And my DJ at the time was really good friends with his uncle. So, you know, he came in and we kind of side-eyed each other. Like, I'm like, don't you start no trouble over here dressed up like a grown man. You know what I'm saying? And he's looking at me like, whatever, girl, you don't know who I am. But yeah, I didn't know.
Right.
And so we had a successful party. And at that point, a lot of people started to connect with us in the city. Like, okay, they're official. They know celebrities. They know, you know, they make good moves. We keep, you know, our business is clean. We're not out here, you know, saying things that are not true. We're just telling the truth and bringing great positive energy. And that's how we kind of started here in Las Vegas. And we decided that this would be the spot for us, you know, and it seems like right after that, my husband started getting, now we lived in Atlanta with TLC. We lived in Atlanta with Monica. But when we moved away, and he was a dancer then, but when we moved away, it seemed like he became more in demand. So now he's going on tours and he's traveling, and, you know, they're seeking out Kevin out here where everyone else is in Atlanta practicing. So we kind of positioned ourselves, and we didn't know what we were doing at the time, but we played a little chess there.
It worked.
Tasha,
yeah,
did you start having any, not ill feelings, but did you really did you try to find a way to collaborate both your new venture in Vegas and then still bring the traditions and the hoopla from Atlanta to Vegas?
Absolutely. I wanted to bring the ATL everything to Vegas. I knew eventually would happen, and look at it, 20-something years later, Usher's out here. He's bringing it now.
Yeah, for real.
But I ain't gonna lie, I laid the foundation.
I know, that's right. And you know what? That's what I love. Claim your stake, because one of the things I can tell you about her, and I, you know, for full transparency, know her personally, right? And but she spent a lot of time behind the scenes, as she shared, really elevating people's careers. And you know, we'll talk about it in a little little bit about how I think I was even instrumental in helping her to flip that script, and instead of being behind the scenes of people and elevating them, get in front of it.
Why don't you tell me what you told me in the car?
Get in front of it.
Her.
Well, I want to talk about. We want to talk about Floyd Mayweather a little bit, because that one chance meeting ended up turning into her really working for him for a long time. So let's talk that story, and then we'll flip it.
Okay.
So can you tell how that kind of came about in your experience in working with him for several years, wasn't it? Yeah.
Right. Yes. So we met briefly in passing at my party, and maybe a month later, I ran into Floyd at a reggae club. It was my birthday. I was celebrating with my friends, and him and his friend, Sean Tyler. They came in, and they were still too young to be in the nightclub. And he came over, and he's trying to buy me and my friends drinks. And the DJ, our mutual friend, came over and did a formal introduction between the two of us. And we shook hands, and he said, I'd like to take you to dinner. And I was like, yeah, no, I'm married. And he was like, I'll take you and your husband to dinner. I was like, okay.
He flipped the script on her real quick.
There. But his whole thing was, how do you know all these celebrities? How do you know all these people? I want you to come work for me, like all in one night. This is the stuff he said to me. And I'm looking at him like, little boy, seriously? Like, I don't even know you. I didn't know him as a boxer. I just briefly heard little things about him. And later in life, I found out we grew up 45 minutes away from each other.
Isn't that amazing?
That's crazy.
So needless to say, we kept running into each other. We didn't exactly exchange information that night, but we kept running into each other. Finally, we did. And then we just had one impactful night of communicating, and he let me know all the things that he was going to do. And I have to say this, he did all of them.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That's amazing.
Over the course of life.
Yeah.
And I was listening to him, and I was trying to insert myself in where I would fit into this. And I still didn't get it, but he was very animate about, me and you can do this. You can help me on the entertainment side, and I'm going to be the best in boxing, and we're going to do this. So he wanted to build a record label at the time. And of course, he knew my experience working with LaFace. So we started there. And he didn't pay me very well. So I had to always keep another job
Wait a minute.
on the side. No, this is the beginning. Now.
Oh, okay.
This is the beginning. This is the late 90s, okay? This is before Money May. He was Pretty Boy Floyd, okay?
That is true.
He was
That's
working
funny.
towards it. So, I was contributing to that. I was the founding president of the Floyd Mayweather Foundation. I helped him. I was very instrumental with Filthy Rich Records, which morphed into Mayweather Music. We had great artists. We had wonderful, well-known producers, Terry Lewis and Jimmy Jam working with us, Avila Brothers. I mean, the list goes on of the magnitude of people that were coming around and wanting to pretty much do business with what we were doing. And I was also the right hand to the champ. I mean, I was the gatekeeper when it came to getting him on certain interviews. Floyd told me, he said he wanted to be a household name. He didn't want to just be known in the boxing industry. So, myself, his team, Leonard Ellerby, a lot of us, came together and trying to, contribute to getting him to do other things like Dancing with the Stars. He did WWE. I mean, these are all the things that I was around and I was a contributor to, as well as, obviously he was the face, but there had to be somebody behind the scenes making it happen. But it was a team of us, but, I was one of the leads on that team along with his management, Leonard Ellerby, and then connecting him to a lot of music industry moguls, which I did because I knew those people and that was the direction he wanted to go.
Makes sense. So
I worked with Floyd for 12 years, and I had to say 12 years off and on because we did take a little break in 2003.
I'm sure he was a piece of work.
Yeah, he was. He is.
I mean, he was. He is. Yeah.
The most important thing is, did you renegotiate your contract?
Well, definitely had to renegotiate the contract. I mean, after, when he started really getting that money, of course, he started making things happen properly. And I appreciate Floyd. I always appreciate Floyd. I appreciate everybody that I've worked with because And I'm not just talking about the famous people. I'm talking about the people that really sat back and educated me and poured into me, so I could flourish and take the knowledge that I was given and the experience and transition it on to the next project or the next, influencer, or even to now feed myself.
There you go.
So Tasha, when you're working with a client and stuff, and you sit down like Yolanda does as a branding expert, and she sits down with me. I'm got to say this on air. Thank you so much, because that's why you're on the show. And she's kind of like you are to your people. She's like that to me. She, if I mess up, she'd be like, "Hey, Dre." So,
I'm on her too.
Do you see?
She does.
I guess to see what you guys do for a living, both of you guys. What's the one thing that you look at or that inspires you to really take that person and take them to the next level? And do you ever turn people down or say, you know what, you need to do a lot more? Or do you have to sometimes get rejections? And then if you do, how do you do it? And then how do you determine who you really want to spend that time and effort into? Because this is a business, no matter how you look at it. It's a business.
Yeah. So I coach, right? So I'm in a coaching business, which her business is a little bit different from what I do. So from my perspective, I'm assessing readiness.
Okay.
That determines whether I will work with you or not.
I see. That's why you're here.
You can have the best story in the world. You can have the best intentions in the world.
Right.
But I'm looking at, are you ready to act upon it? Are you really ready mentally to take yourself where you say you want to go?
Okay.
Because oftentimes we have a growth mindset, but we have mediocre behaviors,
Boom.
Darling.
They don't understand that.
So for Tasha, yours is a little bit different from that standpoint, where she's been, I think you just kind of fell into your stuff because of the connections and network that you've had. I mean, I'm sure some of it's intentional, though.
Yeah, I mean, I did. I just kind of fell into it. And the thing is, and I don't know, I have a loyalty, and I can't say it's a bad thing, but sometimes it could be a little challenging and stand in my way, because sometimes I'm loyal to a fault. And so if I believe in you and you believe in you, and that's really important, because working with a client that doesn't believe in themselves and they're believing more in me than themselves, then that's a client that I probably won't work with, because it won't go any further than that. You have to believe enough in yourself, and then because I have to invest my time in you. So if you don't invest your time in yourself, then what's the purpose?
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Like you can take the horse to the well, but you can't make it drink.
That's right. That's right.
So I just need to make, and that was what really fascinated me about Floyd, because like I just told you guys, everything that he told me in the beginning, like, I'm going to do this, down to how many children he was going to have. Like, literally, this man has planned out his life and how much money, and, and I watched him manifest so many things, and, just even from being, an undefeated fighter to just where he is today. And I mean, with someone like that, that believes that much into themselves.
Yes.
Like, he made me believe in myself sometimes. I remember running with him one day, and I was like, oh, he said, you can do this. We're going to run 5 miles. And I was like, Floyd, I haven't ran in a long time. I can't run 5 miles. He was like, you're going to run 3. And I was like, okay. Now, mind you, I haven't ran in a long, long time. This dude runs all the time. Right. So we're running, and his entourage is driving next to us, and we're running, and I'm like, okay, I don't think I'm half a mile in. I don't think it's going to work for me. Floyd's like, keep going, Tasha. He was like, look at that stop sign in front of us. That's your mom about to get hit by a car. I'm like, what? He's like, and if you stop, bye-bye to mom. I'm like, okay, I'm going. And now I'm like, okay, this is going to be my stopping point. And the entourage, they're like, come on, keep going, Tasha, or you can stop. They were kind of halfway there. And Floyd's like, don't you stop. Don't even listen to them. He was like, keep going. And, by then I'm like 3 miles in, and I'm just listening to him. He's like, follow my voice, just listen to me. And as I was doing that, I was like, dang, like, if this is I did 3 miles that I had in a long, long time. If this is this dude's mindset in the ring, he's going to be undefeated, because if he's thinking about these type of things, the thoughts he's putting in my mind, that you're going to go and give your all in.
Yep, push it to the limit. Push it to the limit.
You know what I'm saying? So, from that experience, I look at my own life today, like, gee, girl, the champ does, this person does, they get up early in the morning, they stay up late at night, they have to go and do what they have to go the extra mile. And what makes you any different in your lane? You know what I'm saying? Own that lane and go the extra mile. Outwork the next person. And that was one. And I mean, trust and believe, there hasn't been a client since Floyd that has had that spirit. You know, now I have that spirit and I'm trying to
put it in others.
Put it in others.
Talk a little bit about, okay, so at some point you made that transition from Floyd, you wrote the book, and then went over to Action Coach. Can you take us through there, and then that'll take us into Vanguardian?
Yes, I mean, it just got real. I was working with Floyd and I was making money. And when I stopped working for Floyd, things got a little challenging financially. But I did take some of the money that I made, I invested it into a boutique. So it didn't go straight from Floyd to Action Coach. I self-published, I wrote and self-published my book. There was a little income there. I went to, I had my boutique. It was a celebrity consignment boutique. So a lot of celebrities donated their clothes to my boutique and I sold the items for profit and nonprofit. And then, you know, obviously the book's residuals are up and down, you know, that's income. And the store was going here and there. During this time, I lost my father, my pillar, my biggest supporter ever. So it kind of, my whole life took a turn, you know, kind of like just the life I knew before just took a big turn. And now my daughter's about to go to college. And this is when it really got real. I said to myself, Tasha, you're going to have to go get a job. You're going to have to go work for someone. You know, now I've been working for myself. Besides working with Floyd, I've been working for myself for many years. So this is a funny story, but I say, Kevin, I'm going to go get a job. And he's like, where are you going? I said, I'm going to the gas station to get a newspaper. And this is like 2015. He started cracking up. He was like,
what's in the newspaper?
Like, right?
You thought he was like, going to go to the
like, what do you mean you're going to get a newspaper at the gas station? He was like, girl, you need to get on LinkedIn. I was like, now that's how long it took for me to have to, you know, I never had to like go and apply for a job. Like that was back in the early 90s when I was doing stuff like that.
You guys, this is too good. Y'all need to share. If you are on, we are on live right now. I mean, with the funny, excellent, wonderful entrepreneur Tasha Robinson White. Please, y'all share this with somebody because this is a story. Did you just hear all the stuff that she has been exposed to, had the opportunity to surround herself with, from experiences, knowledge, celebrities, entertainment? It goes all the way up, and then somehow life has that way of crashing back down.
Yolanda, she needs to know about Indeed.com.
And then you take somebody like her, and she thinking 2015 she gonna get a newspaper and get some
Indeed.com, LinkedIn, Facebook.
But this is the deal, y'all. I didn't have all this time. I've been working for myself.
Yes, we understand.
Well, I was like, that was just weird.
I understand.
And so
sis.
I went to LinkedIn and I applied for a few jobs, and Action Coach was one of the few that actually, you know, hit me back or whatnot. And I was like, okay, they needed someone to help in marketing. And I was like, I can do that, you know. So I went in and I did a group interview first. And I thought that was really strange because I hadn't had a group interview since I was a flight attendant.
I was going to say, have you ever had a group interview?
I did when I was a flight attendant back in the day. Anyway, so I did the group interview and then I left and I felt like I killed the group interview. I felt like I was great. I was like, I knew I was the one in the room. And they called me back and they said, hey, the role that you applied for, we gave it to someone else. But the CEO wants to create a role for you. You impressed us that much.
Oh, wow.
So I was like, wow, okay, well, what's it pay? You know, whatever. And I'm embarrassed to tell you what it paid, but I needed a job at that time. And I was like, okay, let's see what happens.
Yep.
So I started the job and I told my husband the day I went in, I was like, this is not going to last long. This will probably be 6 weeks. Let me get a check or two and let me get out of here. Well, it flipped. And this is where you know God has a plan for you. Right. Even though the money wasn't where I wanted it to be, the education that I got from the experience, the opportunity to work with people all over the world, internationally.
Amazing.
I was doing events, and events is my baby. That's really what I do. But I was doing corporate events and conferences and award shows, and I just forgot that I was making this little bit of money because I was being educated and I was meeting people and I was connecting with people, and that lasted for 5 years. Like, yes. I was just there like, whoa, and what I was doing at that particular time was, I didn't know, I was really just pouring into myself and building on my brand and connecting with more people to.
She's a master connector, by the way, a master connector.
I'm listening.
Her list is vast.
But you know what I like about what she just said was, you was faced with adversity. Now times have changed, and most entrepreneurs, you had to go out. Things changed as things changed, and now you got to go out and get a job. And once again,
do what you got to do.
At least you know about Indeed.com and all the other things,
and do what you got to do.
But you stayed in that beast frame of mind the whole entire journey, knowing that if nobody else was gonna believe in you, you was gonna believe in yourself. Even with the job situation, you didn't make enough, but you took that opportunity and realized, wow, I can still take what you're doing now.
She was taking the lessons. That's what she was doing.
And ran with it.
I met her at the Black Enterprise conference a couple years ago. So we've only known each other for a couple years.
Is this what you told me in the car coming over here?
And I mean, I don't remember what I told you.
I'll tell you after you get done.
Okay, but I connected with her. It was just something about her, and I was like, I really like her. Okay. And I didn't know what it was, but I could tell that her energy, her spirit, and she was getting ready to be doing things,
right.
But something about me just said I need to be close to her. Mm-hmm. Never knew what it was. Contacted her. We stayed in touch, and then I started coaching her. And
started coaching her?
I started coaching her.
Oh, okay.
Yes, Yolanda is my brand coach.
Yeah.
Yolanda is my big sister. She's my mentor. Yolanda is my girl.
You see why she's sitting here, don't you?
Yeah. but what I saw someone behind that needed to be in front.
Right.
And I had to figure out what was holding her back from really getting the greatness and achieving that visibility that she deserved. Because see, when you're behind somebody, Floyd Mayweather can his name is going to be all over the place. Her celebrities that she supported is all over the place. You don't even know Tasha exists. I mean, I'm not saying not it totally exists, but you really wouldn't know. I didn't know she was behind those people or had worked with those people.
I didn't either.
That's what you don't know. But I saw something in her that said to me, you need to take a leap of faith and put yourself out there.
That's exactly what she said driving over here, Tasha.
Yeah.
That's exactly what she said, word for word.
Yeah. I'm like, and put yourself out there, and you can take the rest from there, because tell them where you are today.
No doubt. Exactly. After talking to Yolanda, we met at the Black Enterprise Women in Power here in Vegas, where I live. And it just, I felt the same way about you. It was something about our energy. When you meet somebody, I mean, there was tons of women. I was there with my 5 core girlfriends I grew up with, and it was just something really special about you as well. And then I noticed that you were, you and I had a mutual friend, Linda Clemens.
Yes.
And I was like, okay, she's got to be good people. And you also knew my girlfriend, Tasha. So I was like,
she's got to be good people.
Like, I got 2 witnesses saying this, and then my inner spirit is saying great things as well.
Yeah.
And so anyway, Yolanda and I exchanged information, and maybe about a week or 2 after all of that, I reached out to her and I said, listen, this is my plan. This is where I was with Action Coach. I was like kind of miserable because I felt like I hit my plateau with them. And I was like, but I still enjoy doing this. And I didn't know how to make the transition. I knew I wanted to start my own business. I knew some things I wanted to do, but I just didn't know how to do it. And Yolanda took me through the Branding for Success, like a whole program. I mean, I'm talking, she ain't no punk, y'all. She had me crying, you know what I'm saying? Like really digging into myself, digging into my brand, digging into things that I probably would have never said out loud. But she really challenged me to get my stuff together. And she even helped me along she helped me, and along with another coach, create my exit and try to figure out what was next for myself. And so what happened, she gave me some assignments, and I went on and tried. First, I needed to figure out what my brand was going to be, what I wanted my brand to be. But even before that, like she says this too, like you're your brand before you create your company. They see you before they see that, you know, and there's so many nuggets. We could be here for hours and I can tell you all the stuff about Yolanda, but I think she's worth the investment. I just need to tell people that. Y'all need to go get coached up if you don't know. But anyway, she challenged me to basically find like, what is it? What's your title, Tasha? What, you know, who are you? What do you, you know, what do you do? You know, so I started writing words down, and I had friends of mine and colleagues of mine, like give me descriptive words about who I am and who they see. And it was really consistent. I sent
Remember
it
that
back
exercise, Andre?
I haven't done mine yet.
Very important. I'm telling you, that's very, very important.
He's resistant.
Out, you know, and what you can find out is what people see you, how people see you may not be, or it may be, or may not be what you see in yourself.
That's right.
Coincidentally, for me, what I saw in myself aligned with a lot of things that my colleagues and my friends and in my tribe thought of me. So, which made that part of the process really, really easy. And then I started to figure out, like, you know, names for my company, and thinking of that. And I realized where I got the name. I'll be honest, like I was looking up words, and I was thinking about what I do. I'm the forefront of movement and action. And I found that as a term in the military. The vanguard is the forefront of movement in action.
There you go.
That's where I came up with the Vanguardian Global. We are the forefront of movement in action throughout the world. You know what I'm saying? I'm not thinking small here, y'all.
I know that's right. I know. Go big or stay at home.
And Vanguardian Global, you guys, is not a business, not just another business. To me, this is a movement, and this is a springboard for not just myself, but for others. But I'm leading it, you know, and through my leadership and through my community of connections, collaborations, and creativity, you know, we're gonna take over this next couple of years. You guys stay tuned, because Vanguardian Global has a lot brewing, and we specialize in events. We book speakers, athletes, and entertainers, and we also do. We are certified behavioral practitioners over here. So if you know about DISC, I can definitely give you a DISC assessment, and we have teams that will be able to help you with team building, personal development.
You see me?
All, you know, my speaker. Are you seeing my speakers? Yeah, that's Yolanda.
I'm a little disappointed here.
Wow.
But, you know, you got to play to pay. Now you got to get in there. But yes.
So,
and then, you know,
Tasha, is these services affordable to people, that young entrepreneurs that are just starting out, and you know, income? It takes. You hit it. They don't know. It pays. You got to pay to pay. But a lot of people don't understand that. So is this affordable for people that are just starting out?
Well, before she answered that, let me just say this to you, okay? Because we get into the price. Okay. First of all, you don't pay for anybody's time. You pay for their value, right? That's number one. Number two is your level of success will rarely exceed your level of personal development.
I just wanted you to say that to the viewers, please.
So the point is that I hope it's expensive, because if it's expensive, then you know she giving it to you.
You're going to wing out the people that aren't serious.
Readiness matters. Remember, going back to the readiness. She's working with people that are ready to be on the stage. She's working with people that are ready to get out there and brand up and get themselves together. So
that are in the forefront of movement and action.
Yeah.
That means y'all ready. You're not coming to me in the infant stages. You know, you're ready to go.
She's ready to put them out there. Yeah.
You know, take in the everything that we want to provide you. You're ready to take in for that. And I mean, obviously we work with people, but again, we're not a business to just get you to one level. Like, we want to be a springboard where you take it to the next level, but you never forget. I talk about LaFace Records, right? Now, LaFace Records no longer is a business, but when you think about LaFace Records and you think about all those awesome artists and those moguls in the industry, you know, you remember that was a movement. That wasn't just a business. That was a movement.
That's a good point.
And so where I am today, Vanguardian Global is not just a business. We're a movement. So the people the faces that you see on that website and the people that we work with, they're part of this movement. They're going to go out in this world and they're going to keep saying, but guess what? They're going to say, well, we connected at Vanguardian Global. Whereas I can say I connected with so many people at LaFace Records.
Yes.
So everything that I've learned in the past, you know, I've thrown out the bad and kept the good.
There you go.
You know
there you go.
And
there you go.
And then I'm
I love
hoping
it.
here, you know, with this pot of seeds that we're going to water, you know, there's going to be so many other businesses and influencers that grow as well. Not to mention, we're going to grow.
And you know what I like about her? Let me just tell you this too, because one of the things that Tasha is committed to is not just about she don't need the big names to help them get to a stage any longer. She's trying to help people like you and I who have a platform or really want to elevate to the next level, but not everybody knows we exist, you know?
They don't? Well, let me do this real quick since they don't know we exist. This is the Andre The Beast Crayton show. Please subscribe, rate, like, review, and share. I got in studio my beautiful co-host, Yolanda Smith, Brandon Expert, and we got all the way from Vegas. The one, the
Sin
only,
City,
Tasha
Robinson White. Yes. Well, we're about to wrap up, but Tasha, I wanted to do one thing. I wanted to share with our viewers as we think about Vanguardian's movement. Can you share a little bit about what's next? I know you said you can't give all the secrets because you got some stuff going on behind the scenes, but I know
she got to share it here.
But you can say, you can tease us at least.
What I will say is, when I'm able to expose everything, y'all have to bring me back because I have a lot to say about it.
Yep.
However, we are putting together a very epic event that's going to take place in September 2022 here in Las Vegas. Now, this event it's been done before. Okay. In other cities. It's been even done here in Vegas, but it hasn't been done with the Vanguardian Global touch.
Ooh,
and when I say the Vanguardian Global, let's just think about every experience. We just talked about my resume. We talked about all the different people that I've worked with. We talked about all the different brands that I've worked with. Can you imagine bringing all those people and all those influences to one spot?
That's a powerful movement.
And I'm going to leave it right there.
I'm going to be there.
I'm going to leave it right there.
I'm coming.
But I was going to say
We're coming to that.
We're coming.
Y'all need to be at the spot.
We will be
September 2022
all
here in
right.
Las Vegas.
Yes,
So what I hear is that you want me to wrap up my entire studio and come out there. We're all going to come out to Vegas and we're going to do a live stream from this amazing event.
I think that's what we just talked about.
Now, that's something we definitely need to talk about.
Make it happen.
Need to talk about that.
Oh my
Absolutely.
God, this has been
and
such a
I am
thrill.
writing another book. I have to let you guys know that I'm in the middle of writing my second book.
All right.
And it's pretty much going to pick up from where Right Hand to the Champ, 13 Lessons That Changed My Life.
Yes.
It's going to pick up from there and it's going to go up until where we are today.
Where can they get your book?
It'll be another part of my premiere. Excuse me, say that again.
Where can they get your book? They can get this one because we wanted them to read
That's
this
on Amazon.
one.
You can get it on Amazon.
Okay, all right.
Barnes and Nobles. It's available everywhere.
Okay.
Right Hand to the Champ, 13 Lessons That Changed My Life. But I will say this. That was a different that was Tasha that wrote that book. That was me. But who I am today, I've just grown.
I love
I've
evolution.
grown. And I'm very authentic and transparent in that book. You know, I tell you the good, the bad, the ugly.
Yes.
I share my lessons. And trust me, I am still learning lessons to this day. But I know one thing. I have a great tribe around me, Yolanda, and, you know, my DAC 2K girls and my family and friends here in Las Vegas and all over. So yeah, like it takes a tribe. You don't do all this stuff by yourself.
I know that's right.
You know, and that's very, very important.
Before we wrap up, I got a question that we want you to leave the viewers. Your thank you for really taking the opportunity. I know this was like last minute.
It was.
You came in and you came in with the right champ, knocked to the Beast and left to Yolanda, one to Jason. I mean, the viewers, you're like knocking all over. But what can you leave the viewers with that same energy, that same spirit? This is what I like to say too, since you and Yolanda's on here. Yolanda said something about how you guys met and how we met. And I tell people like this. People come into your life for a reason.
Yes.
It's your actions and your attitude that determines the outcome of that.
Right.
With that said, leave the viewers with something inspirational that has kept you going and kept you in that beast frame of mind.
No pressure.
You're on the clock.
Well, I'm just going to keep it 100. You know what I'm saying? If you don't do anything, you need to know who you are. You know, one of my coaches, Sherry Riley, she coined this phrase, peace is a new success. And that has been with me a lot because, you know, even though I had all these great jobs and I was amongst all these cool people and I was in these awesome rooms, I realized that I wasn't always at peace. You know what I'm saying? I may have been, you know, doing something that might have not just been what I really wanted to do, but I was doing it because that was what we were supposed to do. And that was what the group was doing. Like, I needed to be at peace with every decision that I make. You know, everything that I do needed to align within myself. And I think that comes from maturity as well. Yeah. But we, you know, a lot of times we think money is peace. We think, you know, relationships are peace or all this other stuff, you know, is peace. But peace starts within.
That's
and
right.
So
Love
that's
yourself.
where we need to focus on. So when it's not hard, now you're going to have challenges, but when, you know, things are flowing, continue to flow. But when you run into that challenge, don't completely get discouraged. You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes, you know, you need to turn left instead of right because that's why you're getting the resistance. Do you know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So make sure it always aligns. And if you get into a stumble, just stumble. So, you know, peace is a new success. I didn't coin it, but that's something that resonates with me all the time. And then also, you know, have the right tribe. You know, if you don't have people like Yolanda in your life that's going to say, straighten your crown. Okay. Get it together.
Fix your face.
You need, fix your face. You know what I'm saying? Okay. Breathe. You need people like that. You know what I'm saying? And tell you when it's wrong, when you're wrong, tell you, you know, hype you up when you're right. But you need to have that right group of people around you. And it doesn't always have to be people. You know, books can be tribes too. I've gotten some really great inspirations from a lot of writers out here. Minda Hart is another good writer that you guys should kind of pay attention to. She keeps it 100.
Yep. Thank you so much. This has been awesome. I am excited. You know, I just want people to know, be on the watch out because she's getting ready to make this movement extend far beyond even her own imagination. I believe it in my soul. Tasha, thanks so much for being on our show. This has been another episode of the Andre the Beast Show.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.